August 11th. Most of us assume that once we understand something, we've already gained its value. We read, we listen, we learn, we collect insights, and because we understand them intellectually, we can easily feel that the work is somehow complete. But today's Murli reminds us that knowledge isn't finished when it enters us. It becomes meaningful when it begins to flow through us. Baba gives the beautiful example of a cloud. A cloud can be completely full of rain, but if it never rains, nothing beneath it grows. The same can happen with us. We can accumulate enormous amounts of wisdom and still make very little difference if that wisdom never becomes service, never becomes encouragement, never becomes something another person can actually experience through us. And even then, Baba takes it one step further. What we share with others has to be visible in the way we ourselves live. Through today's 3 teachings, Baba shows us that real service is not simply knowing more or saying more. It is giving what we have received, meeting people where they are, and becoming an example of the very thing we hope to give. Because ultimately, the most powerful teaching we offer another person may not be what we tell them, but who we become in front of them. The first teaching Baba gives us today is what you receive becomes truly valuable when it begins to benefit someone beyond yourself. Today, Baba uses the beautiful image of clouds. Some clouds become full and then rain. They cool the earth, nourish what is growing, bring relief wherever they pass. Other clouds become full, but never release anything. Eventually, they simply drift away. Baba is making a powerful point about service. We can spend years collecting knowledge, listening, reading, understanding, meditating, growing. But if everything we receive remains inside us, something is incomplete, because wisdom was never meant only to be accumulated. It was meant to flow. Think about 2 people who have been through the same difficult experience. One comes through it wiser, but keeps everything they learned to themselves. The other notices someone going through the same struggle and says, "I remember what that felt like. This is what helped me." Suddenly their pain has become useful. Their experience has become service. Nothing extraordinary had to happen. One human being simply allowed what life had taught them to become useful to another. And service doesn't always mean teaching or giving advice. Sometimes it is listening when someone needs to be heard, encouraging someone who has stopped believing in themselves, sharing something you've understood, offering your time, using a skill you have to make another person's life slightly easier. Sometimes service is simply bringing a more peaceful energy into a difficult room. The form matters less than the flow. When we give what we've learned, we understand it more deeply ourselves. A principle we only know intellectually becomes stronger when we explain it. Compassion grows when we practice it. Peace becomes more real when we bring it into someone else's distress. In that sense, service doesn't only benefit the person receiving, it completes something in the giver. Perhaps that's why Baba doesn't simply ask us how much knowledge we have accumulated. The more important question is, what is becoming better because I am here? Who feels lighter? Who feels encouraged? Who understands something they didn't understand before? Who has been helped by something I have learned, experienced, or developed? A cloud isn't valuable because it is full. It's valuable because eventually it rains. And perhaps the real measure of our spiritual growth isn't simply how much we have received from Baba, but how much of what we've received has begun to flow through us and quietly benefit the world around us. The second teaching Baba gives us is real service respects the pace at which another person is ready to grow. Today, Baba reminds us that faith and understanding develop gradually. Someone hearing something for the first time cannot be expected to understand it with the same depth as someone who has lived with it for years. That sounds obvious, yet we often forget it when we're trying to help someone. Once something has become clear to us, it's surprisingly difficult to remember what it felt like before we understood it. We explain something. They don't understand. So we explain it again. They still don't see it. And somewhere inside, impatience begins. Why can't they see this? But perhaps they're not being difficult. Perhaps they're simply standing at a different point on the journey. Think about a child learning to read. You wouldn't hand them a complicated novel and become frustrated because they couldn't understand it. You would meet them where they are. One letter, one word, one sentence. Then gradually something that once seemed impossible becomes natural. Human understanding works much the same way. People need time to question, to experience, to test an idea against their own life. Sometimes they even need to reject something before they're ready to reconsider it. And this is where service requires humility. When we genuinely want to help someone, we stop making their response a measure of our success. We don't need them to agree immediately. We don't need to convince them. We don't need to push harder simply because they haven't understood yet. We offer what we can and leave space, because pressure often creates resistance. When people feel pushed, they naturally defend what they already believe. But when they feel respected, curiosity has room to remain open. Baba is teaching us that good service requires more than knowledge. It requires sensitivity, knowing when to speak, how much to say, when to explain further, and when to simply plant a seed and leave it alone. A gardener doesn't dig up a seed every morning to check whether it has started growing. They give it what it needs and trust the process. Perhaps people deserve the same patience. Real service isn't dragging someone toward the understanding we've reached. It's meeting them where they are, offering what they're ready to receive, and trusting that growth has its own timing. The third teaching Baba gives us today is the most powerful thing you can teach another person is what you consistently live yourself. Today's blessing describes what it means to be a true server. Baba says it's easy to tell someone else what they should do. The harder question is, am I doing it myself? Because people don't only listen to our words, they watch our behavior. They notice how we respond under pressure, how we treat people when we're irritated, whether the principles we speak about still appear when they're inconvenient. Think about a parent constantly telling their child, "Put your phone away." Be present with people. But throughout dinner, the parent keeps checking their own messages. The child receives two teachings, one through words, phones shouldn't control your attention, and another through behavior. What I'm looking at on my phone is more important than the person sitting in front of me. Which lesson is more powerful? Usually the one that was lived. This is why inconsistency can quietly weaken our influence. People have a tendency to be sensitive to congruence, whether someone's words and behavior match. When they do, we instinctively trust them more. When they don't, something feels uncertain, even when we can't explain why. And Baba takes this seriously. The blessing compares even one contradiction between what we teach and what we practice to a drop of poison entering nectar. Not because we need to become perfect before we can help anyone. That would be unrealistic. The deeper point is honesty. If I'm still working on something myself, I don't need to pretend I've mastered it. I can say, this is something I'm practicing too. There's integrity in that. The problem begins when we expect from others what we're unwilling to practice ourselves. So before correcting someone, pause. Before giving advice, check. Before telling someone how they should respond, ask yourself, would I be willing to live this advice in the same situation? That question changes service completely. Because real service isn't standing above someone and telling them how to live. It's walking the path ourselves and allowing what we've genuinely become to quietly show what is possible. Perhaps that's why the strongest teachers rarely need to say very much. They're patience teachers, they're steadiness teachers, they're humility teachers, they're behavior teachers, and eventually who they are becomes more convincing than anything they could ever say. 3 daily practices. 1. Let something you've received flow through you. Today ask yourself, what have I learned that could make someone else's day a little better? It doesn't have to be profound. Perhaps you've learned how to stay calmer in a difficult situation. Perhaps you know something that could make someone's task easier. Perhaps someone simply needs encouragement. Share one thing today that might genuinely benefit another person. A useful idea, a few reassuring words, your time, your attention, your experience. Remember the cloud. Its value isn't simply in how much water it carries. Its purpose is fulfilled when it rains. So today let something good that has entered your life flow through you into someone else's. 2, plant the seed without needing to see it grow. If you're trying to help someone today, notice whether you're becoming attached to how they respond. Do you need them to understand, agree, take your advice, change immediately? Instead, remind yourself, I can offer. I don't have to convince. Say what may be useful, then give the other person space. Sometimes service means explaining. Sometimes it means listening. And sometimes it means saying very little and trusting that something you offered may make sense to them later. Practice meeting people where they are rather than where you think they should already be. A seed doesn't need pressure. It needs the right conditions and time. 3, live one piece of advice you regularly give. Think of something you often encourage other people to do. Don't worry so much. Take care of yourself. Let it go. Be patient. Don't take things personally. Then ask yourself, am I actually living this? Choose just one of those principles and practice it deliberately today. If you tell others to stay calm, practice calm when something irritates you. If you encourage others to set boundaries, honor one of your own. If you tell people to trust, notice where you are still trying to control. Not perfectly, just sincerely. Because every time our actions move closer to our words, our integrity becomes stronger. Final reflection. Today's Murli changes the way we think about service. Service isn't simply knowing something that could help another person. It isn't even simply sharing it. Real service has 3 parts: receive, give, become. We receive knowledge and understanding. We allow what we've received to flow outward in a way another person can actually use. And then we do perhaps the hardest part. We try to become an example of what we are sharing. But Baba also reminds us that service cannot be forced. We cannot make another person understand before they're ready. We cannot rush someone else's growth, and we don't need to. Our responsibility is to offer what we can with patience, humility, and genuine good wishes, and then allow the other soul their own journey. Perhaps this is the deeper meaning of Baba's cloud. A cloud doesn't choose which seed will grow. It simply rains. And maybe that is enough. Give what you have received. Give it without pressure. Live what you teach. And trust that wherever something is ready to grow, your service will find it. Om Shanti.